Once the project's up and running, my plan is to disappear.
I need to break into Wyndemere, and I need you to help me.
I'm really looking forward to your visit.
You have to take your passport and leave.
Nobody can know this. You have no idea how relieved I am to hear that.
I cannot look at these upcoming episodes and call them anything other than a slow burn disaster waiting to happen. And I mean that in the best possible way. Every storyline is tightening around fear, guilt, or desperation, and that is why this stretch in Port Charles feels alive. Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake sharing a peaceful moment almost feels like a warning sign, because on this show, peace never stays peaceful for long. Anna's situation is interesting to me because it is not only about her health, it is about control. She is facing a new evaluating doctor, which means she has to perform strength and stability even if she is falling apart inside. That is classic soap psychology. And that is what keeps me hooked. And then there is Carly turning to Lucas for help with Wyndemere. Now that got my attention fast. The moment Carly asks for a break-in, you already know this is not a casual favor. This is panic. Once she reveals that Josslyn is working as a covert WSB agent, the whole situation becomes deeper than a missing person story. It becomes a family emergency and a moral nightmare all at once. What I find most powerful here is Lucas's reaction. He is shocked, yes, but he does not stay frozen there for long. That tells me he understands immediately. This is about Josslyn's life. When family is in danger, people stop thinking neatly. They start thinking urgently. The Cassius Faison situation feels like one big trap closing in. Whether we call him Cassius or Nathan, the energy around him is the same: slippery, controlled, and dangerous. When a character starts talking about disappearing after the cold fusion project is done, I hear someone who already knows the storm is coming and wants out before it hits. But Ross Cullum complicating that plan changes everything. Suspicion is powerful in soap opera land, and once somebody starts connecting the wrong dots, blackmail and violence are never far behind. That is why I keep thinking this storyline could become especially dangerous for Josslyn. If Cullum decides to pressure Cassius into handling her, the stakes jump from secretive to horrifying in an instant. And that is what makes this arc work. It keeps asking the same question: how far will people go when survival starts costing someone else theirs? The younger generation is getting pulled into some heavy material too, and I think that matters. Charlotte telling Danny that Rocco shot Cullum to protect Jason and that Jason took the blame is not just a shocking reveal, it is a truth that changes how kids like Danny understand the adults around them. Britt and Rocco at the tropical hideout add another emotional layer. The minute Britt realizes Rocco contacted Port Charles, the fantasy of hiding starts collapsing. Because once his parents are on the move, the safety bubble is gone. Her telling him to take his passport and go with Dante and Lulu feels sad, but also practical. And Lulu and Dante searching together in the British Virgin Islands, that has real tension. They are not just looking for their son, they are trying to function while carrying old history, hurt, and unfinished business. So when they uncover a major discovery, I do not see that as a simple twist. I see it as the kind of moment that could either reconnect a family or blow the whole situation apart. Back at Wyndemere, Josslyn refusing to stay quiet is exactly the kind of shift I love. A captive who starts pushing back changes the entire tone of the story. Now she is not just waiting to be saved, she is fighting for her own agency. And with Liesl still working on Faison's legacy in the background, this corner of the plot feels especially unsettling. Then there is Jordan, and honestly, her storyline feels more reflective than explosive, which makes it important. After everything she has been through, it makes sense that she would hesitate to jump back into politics or into the version of herself she used to be. Her reaching out for help feels grounded. It feels human. Same with Chase receiving an ominous warning at the precinct. That is the kind of detail that tells me something bigger is moving underneath the surface. And Alexis being summoned to the PCPD, that feels like the legal side of the story is finally about to collide with the personal damage. If Drew has framed Willow for Jordan's accident, then the fallout is going to be messy, emotional, and impossible to contain. My biggest question is, which fire spreads first? Because to me, Wyndemere feels like the hottest one.